to this screencast on screencasting equipment and best practices. What to use, how to use it. Today we're going to take a brief look at the many ways that screencasts can be used. We're going to discuss the types of software to consider for making a screencast. We're going to review the pros and cons of specific microphones. We're going to differentiate the many camera options, and we're going to consider other possible equipment and needs you might have when creating a quality screencast. Screencasts have become very popular as an everyday tool by instructors for communicating with their students outside of the classroom. Some faculty think that screencasts are only useful for teaching software in a point-and-click demonstration, but there are so many other ways you could implement screencast in your teaching. Here's some ideas. Screencasting short lectures from PowerPoint or keynote presentations. You should limit these to approximately 10 minutes in length. Lab tutorials. Demonstration of homework solutions. Demonstration of software. Demonstration of complex procedures such as printmaking. Explaining lab safety procedures. Demonstration of physical therapy techniques. Step-by-step guidance in chemistry experiments. Archiving moments of special guest speakers. Coaching demonstrations. Mock job interviews. And music lessons. The list is only as limited as your imagination. There is so much you can do with screencasts. So now the question arises, what type of software and equipment should you use to create effective screencasts? The most popular screencasting software these days for Windows or Macintosh computers is Camtasia. Camtasia, designed by the company TechSmith, has all the bells and whistles you will ever need to create quality screencasts. And yet, it is quite intuitive to learn and use. Cal Poly has a site license for Camtasia, which you can download and install for free on your state computer directly from the Cal Poly portal. Camtasia is my personal favorite app for screencasting due to its excellent editing features, zoom and pan capabilities, and ease of use. Its professional output can easily be directly uploaded to YouTube or can produce standalone MP4 files. If you have an iPad, you may want to consider a great little app for the iPad called Explain Everything. This app only costs $2.99. That's $2.99, not $299. However, don't sell this app short even though it is inexpensive. It is very powerful as far as what it allows you to screen, record, and yet simplicity is its middle name. We often teach Explain Everything in the CTLT as a training wheel software before users move up to learning Camtasia. Even if you use Camtasia, you might want to use Explain Everything for any kind of math equation examples or other times when you might need to hand draw on the screen. Export it out and import it into Camtasia for editing or incorporation into your regular screencasts. The one disadvantage to Explain Everything is that its editing features are very limited in comparison to Camtasia. Similar to PowerPoint, if you make a mistake, you'll have to re-record the slide, which is really not the best editing approach. If you are familiar with presentation software such as PowerPoint, Keynote, or Lexshare, you can add the record narration feature to your presentation. However, as I mentioned, When you make a mistake on a slide, you have to re-record the entire slide. Recording a PowerPoint or Keynote presentation in slideshow mode with Camtasia is actually better due to the editing features you will have at your fingertips. And if you make a small mistake, like a sneeze, you don't have to re-record, but just snip out the mistake. Another possibility for screencasting, if you just want to record still images and voiceovers, is Apple's GarageBand or Profcast for Windows or Mac to create an enhanced podcast that is spoken audio, music, and images. If you plan to use a lot of images and you really like to have your images seem more alive, you can implement the Ken Burns effect. The Ken Burns effect is a type of panning and zooming effect made famous by the documentarian Ken Burns. It's often used in video production for still imagery. I'll show you an example of this effect in a moment. I'm sure you've seen it used before, but you may not have been aware of what this effect is called. To apply this effect most easily, I would suggest using Apple's iMovie if you have a Macintosh computer. iMovie for the Mac comes as part of the free iLife package that is installed on any newer Mac. If you are a Windows user and don't have a Mac, but you have an iPad, note that the newest version of iMovie for the iPad also has the ability to use the Ken Burns effect for still images. Check it out in the App Store. iMovie for the iPad is only $4.99. That's $4.99. You can also pull off the Ken's effect by using the Magic Move transition in Keynote. As promised, here's an example of using the Ken Burns effect with still images by taking an image, placing it on a slide in Keynote, duplicating that slide, and making the second slide's image much larger, and then repositioning it to what you wish to focus on, and use the Magic Move transition available in Keynote. It is magic, you know. It's also magic that I managed to get a photo of my dogs in practically every class I teach. Another video approach would be to have someone videotape your lecture in the classroom, lab, or out on a site somewhere. For example, a marine biology lecture out at the tide pools with a typical video camera. I suggest that if you wish to take this approach, that you use a tripod and a high-definition HD camera to get the best results in your filming. And if possible, take an experienced videographer to help you.